So you think that that will affect the credibility of the campaign?
Yeah, look, it affects it a whole lot of ways. You know, Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, was supposed to be, everybody said he was going to be the pick. Pennsylvania has 19 electoral votes, as Annalise was just saying there. But there's a problem. Josh Shapiro is Jewish, and for the Democrats, who are the party of, tolerance and inclusion, well, that was just too much for them because, of course, they've got this whole Hamas wing of the party that's exceedingly pro-Palestine, and they didn't want somebody Jewish on the top of the ticket. Go figure. So they ditched him. They've gone with Tim Walz, and now everybody's digging through his records. This is a guy who, during the pandemic, let BLM rioters torch his city, his biggest city in his state, while also setting up a drop-in line so that people could, call in violations of their neighbors during lockdown. He's very, very, very pro the whole transgender movement and that whole thing. He he even passed legislation and proudly signed legislation forcing schools to put tampon dispensers in boys' bathrooms. So figure that one out. He's got a lot of very strange links to China, including going to China on his honeymoon during the anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre. But now there's also word coming out that he claimed a rank he didn't have in the National Guard and claimed service in Afghanistan that he didn't do during the global war on terror. And now people are saying, who is this guy? And I think clearly the thing is that they didn't check him out. They didn't have time to check him out. They needed a candidate, and they thought, oh, well, let's just put the 60-year-old, goofy white guy he's relatable in to balance the ticket, and hopefully, we'll get white middle-aged voters who are pro-Trump and down on Kamala. I mean, it was incredibly patronizing to do such a pick in such a manner. And now, of course, they've got a huge number of problems that they've got to answer about this guy.
But of course, you don't even need to do much digging to scrutinize Trump in not even a comparable way. What do you make of the Trump camp's response to the Democratic ticket, calling him extremist?
Well, he is extremist. I mean, this is a guy who said, let's not be ashamed of the word socialism. And at the same time, we haven't seen him answer any questions. We haven't seen him do a press conference.
So is Trump extremist?
What's that? I think.
Does that make Trump extremist?
No, I don't think he's extremist at all. I think, the things that Trump is for, like a strong border, anti-illegal immigration, these are things that are pretty normal mainstream sort of things. I'm not sure putting tampon machines in boys' bathrooms is exactly, normal behavior, but that's just me. So, just to go back to the point about the Democratic ticket, we haven't seen Kamala Harris give a press conference for 16 days now. I think 17 days. She's answered precisely one question. Tim Walz has run from the press. There is no media scrutiny allowed by this campaign. They are literally trying to do a hiding in the basement routine, just like Joe Biden did in 2020. It's not acceptable. And I mean, you want to talk extreme? That's extreme.
What do you think Trump's going to say at the Montana rally this Friday?
Well, I think we're going to hear a lot of the same stuff that we always hear from him. You're going to hear his standard lines, but I think you're going to see a big line of attack on Tim Walz, who presents just a huge target for the Republicans. This guy is, he was a dud as governor. Tomorrow night on the U.S. Report, we're going to have people from Minnesota who lived through his governorship talk about how crime went up, school results went down, and people started fleeing the state under his leadership because it was so bad. This is a guy who's up for vice president. He's going to hit all of those themes. And, again, where are these people? Kamala Harris hasn't answered any questions, hasn't done a tough interview since becoming the nominee. Tim Walz, he hasn't done a sit down. He's not answering questions. It's all very, very bizarre.